What's up, guys? Have a new knife review for you. I showed this briefly in my contest winning video, but this is the Wenger 1893 Heritage knife, and I'm going to open it up here and show you all the information and everything. This is the outer sleeve. It's just a cardboard sleeve that protects the storage box, and you can see it's just a quick reference. You can see it has the Wenger logo on it. It says what it is, Wenger's first Swiss Army knife, and of course this one's serialized, so you have the serial number. This one happens to be number 34 out of 1893. So, take the sleeve off, put that aside. Now we have a nice thick cardboard storage box. Okay, top lifts off, and then this front, this flap comes down on purpose. It makes it easier to get the presentation box out. Slide that out. And we have, like I said, this is a presentation box. If you want to display this, it's walnut wood, and it has a green leather wrapped wood for the rest of the construction here. I'm not sure what kind of wood's underneath, probably pine or something, doesn't matter because you don't see it. But it's a very nice emblem on the top here, as you can see. It's, you know, it's sticking up. It's like a 3D emblem, it's not a sticker or anything. There's the Wenger logo here. Kind of an enamel with stainless steel. So, a very beautiful presentation box right off the bat. The top slides, and only slides one way. It won't slide the other way. And the back is actually magnetized, and it kind of keeps the lid in place here. But once we slide open, we'll see we have the knife. You have a nice little plaque. The plaque again gives you the serial number, which matches the knife and matches the box. And of course Wenger. Then you have a nice certificate of authenticity, some other information here, and then down below that we have our paperwork for it, and a little oxygen absorber, actually two of them here, keep any kind of moisture out of here. So certificate, it unrolls like a scroll. It's on this old English type paper. It's very cool. It actually has information on the knife in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different languages. Okay, let me find the English one, which is number 2. I guess the first one is probably French. Don't know offhand, but I know some places in Switzerland speak French. Alright, so number 2, or the second bullet here, is the English version. It says Certificate of Authenticity, limited edition of 1,893 pieces. This presentation box contains a replica based on the original plans of the very first knife designed by the Swiss Army in 1890 and produced by Wenger in 1901. This knife is an outstanding example of Swiss craftsmanship and manufacturing quality. Each knife is assembled, polished, and adjusted by hand by a cutler. Okay, and then once you get past all these scrolls, you have the original blueprint of the knife, which is very cool. And a little scripture again in all, let's see, 3, 5, 7 languages. English. The original plans bear the signature of the Federal War Material Administration. Technical section. This document, kept in the archives, was used for manufacturing and very first pocket knife ordered by the Swiss Army for its soldiers. So here is the original plans for the Swiss Army knife. So that's the little scroll here. Very cool. If you're going to display this piece, you might want to, you know, just get a frame for this so you don't have to keep unrolling it for people if you're going to show it off. But anyway, and then of course we have the knife itself. Now before I get into the knife, I want to talk briefly about Wenger as a company and Victorinox. One of the most common questions I get by far having to do with Swiss Army knives is, what's better? Is Wenger better or is Victorinox better? Victorinox is more known, I think, generally speaking. A lot of people don't know that they're sister companies. Wenger and Victorinox are owned by the same people. They work together. Okay, they're not competitors. I mean, in some ways they compete with each other, but at the end of the day, the same people win because no matter which one you get, it goes to the same people. So they are sister companies. That's the first thing that some people don't know. The other thing people don't know is when they're actually created. Obviously, this is a replica of their first one. It's called the 1893 because that's when Wenger came in production. That's when they started as a company, 1893. Victorinox started as a company in 1890. Okay, so they started 3 years before Wenger. Now, in 1908, the government of Switzerland wanted to have a contract for a knife for the Swiss Army, a Swiss Army knife. They had a new rifle come out, and they wanted one of their, maybe not demand is the right word, but one of their requirements, that's the correct word, one of the requirements for this knife that was going to be military issued is it has a couple extra tools, such as a screwdriver. Very important for the soldiers to be able to break down their new rifles, okay, in the field, for field stripping and cleaning and maintenance and stuff. So that's why they wanted to make this kind of multi-tool, multi-function pocket knife for the soldiers. Now, what I've learned is that Wenger comes from a French-speaking region of Switzerland, okay, and Victorinox comes from a mainly German-speaking region of Switzerland. So when the government wanted to establish a, again, this is in 1908. They wanted to establish a government contract with a company for the knife. They didn't want to cause any conflict, you know. They didn't want to have to pick one over the other. So what they ended up doing is they ended up contracting exactly half of the knives from Victorinox and half from Wenger. So because Victorinox came first, again 3 years before Wenger, Victorinox is able to say that they are the original Swiss Army knife, which is true. They're the original. But Wenger is still known as the genuine Swiss Army knife. So when you see those words, that's what it means. Genuine meaning that it was a military issued knife for the Swiss Army for many, many years. I mean, they both have been making knives over 100 years now. They've definitely proven themselves. As far as quality and craftsmanship, they're both very much similar. They're kind of on par. I have a lot more experience with the Victorinox models than I do Wenger. But I have an Evo series model from Wenger, which I think is awesome. It's just different. It's not bad. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just different. That's all. So just a quick little background on the company. So now hopefully you guys understand a little bit better what the deal is. All right. So now onto the specific knife, obviously, for this review. First thing, let me get some specs out of the way. It's got a little bit of heft. It's 4.4 ounces according to my scale, but Wenger's website says 5 ounces. So I mean, you know, take it for what it's worth. It's around that area. It has a 3-inch blade. It's that same spade blade you see on most, Swiss Army knives. Very common. Comes extremely sharp. All the steel on this entire knife is very high polished. Okay, beautiful presentation. You can see the bolsters, the pins, the blade, all the tools. Very high polish on it. The tools on this, let me give you the overall length here, 7 inches. Okay, 3-inch blade, 4-inch handle, so 7 inches overall. You can kind of see it in my hand. It's a larger model. It's not huge, but it's not a teeny tiny thing. It's got a little beef, some heft to it. Now the materials here, obviously stainless, like I said, for the blade and the bolsters. But the handle here is a mix between wood and fibrox. Okay, it's layered. Now fibrox are those darker layers, and that's what you see used a lot of times. It's a synthetic that you'll see in kitchen knives. I know a lot of the Henkel's cheaper models and a lot of Victorinox kitchen knives use that exact same material, fibrox. Now as far as what the wood is, I called Wenger, and the woman who I talked to on the phone, the representative, was extremely nice. And she talked about 3 different people, but they couldn't find out exactly what specific type of wood is used for the handle. So unfortunately I don't have that information. But it does have a nice wood grain, as you saw. Bring you in the back here. And again, it's just layered. The nice wood, and then that fibrox for strength. Now, I did a lot of research trying to find this exact same knife, an original one. And I'm going to show you a picture in just a second here. And this is a picture that was on eBay. Now, just to give you an idea of cost, this knife here, this Commemorative knife, retails for $500. Okay, it's not a cheap knife. It's a collectible knife. It's a rare knife. Years from now, people are going to be looking for this. But you can use it. It's still a great knife to actually use. Some people like to use expensive knives. Some people don't. Whatever you want to do with it, that's up to you. But just to give you an idea again on price, this sells for roughly anywhere from $350 to $500, depending on where you get it. Average about $400 or so. But retails $500. Now Sorry about that. That was my 10-minute mark when my camera likes to shut off on me. Anyway, what I was saying is that this one here retails for $500. I found an original one on eBay from 1908, and I want to show you the picture of it to show you, the difference between the reproduction and the original. And this person was selling this knife with a couple dog tags from a soldier for $5,000. So, if you want an original, it's going to be harder to find, and obviously, as you can see, it's going to be about 10 times the price. So if you think 500 is expensive, the original is a lot more. But anyway, I just want to show you the different tools you have on here. There is 5 different tools, and we have the main blade here. Close that up. On the back, we have the reamer. Okay. Now, we also have the screwdriver, which is, again, one of the most important tools on this folder for the soldiers, because they're able to break down their rifles, in the field. And I say 5, there's really 4 major tools, but I also consider this screwdriver to be a partial light-duty pry bar. But it's not really in the description at all, so technically there's only 4. And then lastly, we have the can opener. And what's cool about this is that there's a little cutout here, as you can see, and a notch that sticks up. Makes this very easy to access. Okay, and there's your can opener. Obviously for the food in the field for soldiers. So very simple, very straightforward, high quality. Fit and finish on this knife is superb. Let me show you the serial number on the bolster there. But there is one thing I want to point out. Now, understand before I show you this, that this is an expensive knife. So due to the price and the collectability and all that, it's going to be scrutinized a little bit more than another knife, okay? And what I mean by that is that I'm looking a lot closer in detail for detail issues, okay? Now, right off the bat, when you're looking at this thing, you think, wow, it's a really beautiful knife. Get some of those fingerprints off there. Fit and finish is, like I said, superb. But if you really, really look closely, there is one defect in this knife. It's going to be very hard to see. Before I even point it out, let's see if you guys can spot it. I'll give you a slow rotation here. And again, to the average user, or a collector, they might not even notice this. But like I said, because of the price, I have to scrutinize this a lot more than other knives. And it is in the back of the bolster on top here. I'm assuming in manufacturing, there was just a slight issue. You can see to the right there. Well, let me get rid of the fingerprints again. And let me grab, I have actually another Victorinox here. Well, I have a Victorinox knife. I'm going to give you a comparison in a second here, but I'm going to use this as my pointer. And what tool do I want to use here? Well, I'll just use the blade. Here's the Victorinox Soldier, the newer Soldier. But anyway, right here, okay, right there in that corner, you'll notice that it's slightly rounded off, as opposed to this corner right here, which is completely squared. You have that 90-degree cut, and it's really is perfect on the left side. But on the right side, you can see here, first to the left, you can see where the handle scale butts up against the steel. It's perfect. On the right, you can see just a very slight rounded corner. But that is a defect. And again, for the price, it's something I wanted to point out. That's all. I have no idea if that's a single issue with this one. I would imagine it probably is. I'm sure that they don't have this on every single model. But something I just wanted to point out. Another thing is the blade thickness. Okay, the stock on this blade is pretty hefty. Compare it to the newer Soldier. It might be hard to see, but it is a little bit thicker. Okay, and we're also going to compare it to, here's another Victorinox. This is one of my favorites. I had one of my viewers send me this scale. They engraved my name on it. I always had my little Phoenix light attached to it. But anyway, the main blade on this one Do a comparison. You can see the difference there. So it is a hefty blade. Okay, it's chunky. And even the back springs, I mean, you can see the difference here. It's just a beefy, heavy-duty knife, and that's how it was originally, you know? So, that's pretty much it. It's a beautiful knife. Like I said, it's, in my opinion, very much suited for the collector market. You can buy it, you can use it. I think it's an awesome, awesome gift to anyone who's really into knives. I mean, like serious collectors. It's not something, obviously, you know, you get, you know, someone who's not that much into knives. I mean, they wouldn't appreciate it as much as a knife collector. But like I said, if you wanted to actually use this, it would be a great knife to use. I wouldn't hold back. But like I said, most people are just going to collect it due to the price and rarity. So that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again to the winner of the auction for this knife. It's going to charity, as I mentioned, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And that's all. I think it's a fantastic knife. I wish I could keep it in my collection, but I can't. So thanks for watching, guys. As always, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.